It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard. You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
Ha, that makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him.
It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism.
What he means by pessimism is resistance. And that's what COINTELPRO was all about, stopping the resistance.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change.
We hide it in plain sight. One of Plato's greatest works was the allegory of the cave. I feel in order to understand the political matrix, we need only to look into this allegory. We first have to open our minds to the possibility everything is not as it seems, that things we've always known to be truth may be lies. For if we can't perceive the lies we've ingested, we can't see the bars on our mental conditioning. For that is how you walk out of the cave and see the political matrix. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Political Matrix. I am your host, Marcus Young Morpheus Cage, and we got a fun special show. The topics I have that I want to get into, I want to talk about the Dallas ICE shooting. There's been a rash of these going on, and it's provoked different responses. So we're going to delve into it, talk about it just a little bit. I did run across something interesting with the Charlie Kirk thing. I know everybody's been kind of going on and on and on about it, and people like Candace Owens turned it into a mini-series. But there is definitely some things that I kind of want to bring up, maybe. So I will go into that just a little bit. Comey indicted. We're going to go into that and talk about that a little bit. Gideon AI and other AI things projects that I've seen spring up. I do want to discuss that and what that can imply, and also allude to certain things going on even in the UK, which I worry could spring over here to the United States and other areas. So those are just some of the things. As you guys can see, I put Charles Adair on the screen. If you guys are not familiar with what's going on with Charles Adair, I decided that I definitely wanted to bring it up. My mom brought it to my attention. And Charles Adair, well, I guess the reason why it's, more personal to me is I used to work in that same place where his life was taken. And so kind of want to discuss that case a little bit, bring attention to it if you guys have not heard about it yet, and show you guys a couple of clips onto that. And then I guess we could bring up a little bit of the day-to-day stories that have been going on throughout the week. There's definitely been plenty, and with this Trump administration, it seems like it's nonstop. It's almost like they know they have a limited time, and so they're rushing to do as much as possible before, it's almost like a thief who knows that they only got a certain amount of time in the jewelry store or the bank before the cops come. And so that's, I guess, my analogous to the Trump administration. That's what they feel like. So before we get into all that, throw a shout out to the chat. I see you was here nice and early. I see Uncle Warren was here. Laney is in the building again. Special appreciation for Laney coming through last week, guest hosting. Look forward to seeing Laney again and more often. So she has kind of came out of her hiatus, and she's coming back into the commentating sphere, and so definitely welcome it. I do know that she has a project going on that she's going to be working on with Uncle Warren, but definitely look for collaborations with all of us. Till should be joining us soon. Shout out, of course, to my cousin, Mr. Ladarius. What's up, brother? And shout out to his channel also. Grow with Us. Make sure you guys go and check that out if you want to kind of get back to nature and little tips on different ways you can grow different fruits, plants, and things which, who knows what we might see coming in the future that might be very necessary. So especially if you don't have a green thumb and you're not familiar with those things, make sure you check out what Ladarius and the family are doing over there, and you can pick up some good tips. Also, it's good wholesome type show where you're able to see, a proud father out there with his family and teaching them good valuable tools that they can use as they grow up. Let's see, Miguel. Shout out to Miguel. Dingo, Abundance Protocol. So yeah, glad to speak to all you guys. Some of this, honestly, with the Trump administration, there's so much stuff that goes on, and some of the things are so fly by night that you don't even know if it's worth covering it, because some of this stuff may turn into something, it may not turn into anything. I mean, it just seems like if Joffrey made it to like 70 something years old and just start becking everything at his beck and call, first thing that comes to his mind, he has a whole group of flunkies who are just going to jump and do it. I guess Trump administration is the closest to seeing that. I did want to bring up some news that kind of surprised me a little bit. Let me see if I can find that article real quick, because I remember this figure being I gotta spell it right. I remember when Nicholas Scarcozy was president. So I wanted to start off with this story first. Let me put this on the screen. And especially for those who have not paid attention to it, it's kind of surprising that this will come about and so far down the road from when all these things were going on. I mean, I guess you'd have to wait till you're out of power. Of course. Let me close that one and bring up another link. No, I am not logging into anything. Let's see, Reuters is normally good. So let's go for Reuters. So let me share. Sarkozy jailing reignites debate over French political justice ahead of Le Pen appeal. Le Pen appeal. I didn't know that Le Pen was in any trouble. Well, I guess I have not been paying attention. It just looks like she's running for office. That says, I believe. Let's see, 2012. Oh no, that's old. But let's see. Former President Nicolas Sarkozy's prison sentence has deepened divisions in France over judges' handling of political wrongdoings. Months before far-right chief Marine Le Pen attempts to overturn an embezzlement conviction and run for top office. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. See, so much stuff going on. It's hard to keep up with everything. A Paris court jolted the political spear on Thursday when it handed Sarkozy a 5-year sentence for criminal conspiracy over attempts to raise campaign funds from Libya. He will soon become the country's first post-war president to be in prison. I wanted to bring that up in particular because it's huge news, and people who remember when he's in office, it's kind of like surprising that the possibility you might see a president in the first world who's going behind bars. Well, believed to go behind bars. I mean, they say it's up to a 5-year sentence that he can get. But that's kind of surprising. And I wonder if this might set a trend that you may see. I mean, right there you have Marine Le Pen, who she has embezzlement charges that she's trying to get overturned. So, what's the possibility that, you know, Macron decides, give a little nudge over here and, hey, go after her too? I mean, it can get into a very dicey situation when you start seeing politicians start locking each other up. Granted, they'll say that, oh, well, it's, you know, it's the court system, it's separate from the executive branch. We have nothing to do with this, but we all know when it's your administration, you can go over there, you can kind of rub elbows. Hey, man, you know, let's drop this, and we don't really have to do that. Why don't we settle this out of court? Why don't we do this? So it's not that you necessarily have power or control over these other branches of government, but there is influence. And especially when you have people who are part of your party or part of your faction or coalition who can talk to people on the other side and can work deals, they could have found a different way than sending this man to prison. And I think the fact that he is being sent to prison, to what I believe it says here, it could be a lot of hard feelings, and maybe he burned a whole lot of people, and this could set a precedent. So, I don't know. Interesting times we're living in, and I wonder if we'll even see. Oh, good point. Miguel brought up. Well, that's right. Bolsonaro is. Well, he's like on a form of house arrest, which means technically house arrest is being arrested and locked up at home, but will we see Bolsonaro actually go into prison behind, you know, cells with just the common criminal? Sarkozy now. I mean, what happens if it's Le Pen next? This could start a whole list of dominoes. So, oh, sorry, got this. Definitely, I'm not trying to advertise the product here, but I didn't have a koozie, and I just wanted to hop on here, and I didn't want to waste too much longer putting it into a cup since I was already running a few minutes behind. Says, I like how his Wikipedia page shows him as French politician and convicted criminal. Yes, that is interesting. Oh, yeah, that's right. Before I hop onto another story, kind of a brief note. I don't know for those who follow RBN, but I've heard news that that Nick has been booted off of YouTube. Now, I don't know if that's for the whole channel or just him or whatever, but I thought that's a little interesting. I wonder. I mean, I guess I can always check over to RBN and see if it is still there. But I follow Savvy, and I don't. Of course, I don't follow every single thing that any content creator puts out, but I wonder if Savvy talked about it at all. I mean, hey, they put up something 6 hours ago, and it looks like Nick on there, so I don't know how truth it was about him being banned. But because I think I saw, what was it, yesterday or the day before, or maybe he was reinstated in that time period. I don't know. Anybody else who knows and can give, more credible information, please let me know. I don't want to be out there spreading false information. I'm just saying I heard. I think it was Nick actually who I saw on was it Twitter, X, whatever, who he was the one saying that he was banned from YouTube. So I don't know. Interesting. I mean, I have only one hand to type with. Yo, Nina, what happened to your hand? Oh, gotcha. Your fur baby has the other hand. Gotcha. Makes sense. Oh, you think they can't live stream anymore because they got a channel structure. So, I wonder because typically whenever you get a strike, that can just mean that you are temporarily can't stream. I mean, I've had strikes before, and we've not been able to stream for a week or so, and so typically I'll just stream on another channel. But yeah, if that's the case, that's kind of a short-term thing. I mean, depending on the infraction and how bad, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. Depends on how many strikes they have and what kind of strike it was. Let's see, Rondo says, if I remember correctly, they said a firearm was in a video that they were commenting on, and YouTube strike because of that. That sounds kind of fishy. It almost seems like, I don't know. I'd have to look at this video. YouTube, how YouTube goes. You can't never tell which video in particular or what in the video is the cause of whatever they decide to do to you, because YouTube is very vague and they don't like to explain out what the hell they're punishing you for, which tells me they don't really want to. They're not really trying to give you an avenue to fix the behavior or problem and move forward. They're just looking for a reason to go after you. And I would probably lean more towards maybe some of the stuff that they've said over there, that Nick has said, is probably ruffled some feathers to some people. And they're a big enough channel now that they can get the attention of some of the people you don't want attention of. And therefore they can go after you. And so I think more or less it's probably some of the stuff which Nick has probably said that's just pissed people off. I know Nick and RBN, just in general, they tend to be a little bit more firebrands than I tend to be. Tend to, be a little bit more provocative with their language and way they describe and say things. And, kudos to them. Everybody has their own style. And so I just think probably it's because maybe he's offended some people with some of his Charlie Kirk stuff and getting mass reported or something like that. Or just somebody at YouTube felt it was insensitive, and especially with the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing that went down, I think they could be just kind of targeting them. I don't know. I doubt it's for guns, because I watch a lot of content on YouTube that has guns, and that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I've literally watched, I don't know how many videos where they are talking about the Kirk shooting and they're doing reenactments of, firing with 30-06 and similar rifles at the similar ranges. And granted, they haven't went to jail target shooting those, and they kind of went more for either silhouette targets or fruit or something like that. But I've watched plenty of videos of people firing weapons. So I don't, that the whole, they had a gun in the clip, that sounds like BS to me. I mean, well, as far as BS, as far as what was said to them. So it doesn't make very much sense to me. That's what I'm saying in essence, Rondo, that this was probably a convenient excuse to hit RBN. That's just the reason that they used to go after him. I know one of the strikes which I got once was I shared a clip that many other people had shared from the show Utopia during COVID. And because that alluded to a billionaire having nefarious plans of vaccinations and harming the mass public during that time, since it was testy, we got very close to losing the channel. So YouTube is not ever clear in why they do things. And I think most of it is somebody somewhere has complained about you, and so therefore they're going to go after you. Or there's some kind of mandate that's being put down behind the scenes, and they're going after any channels that do anything that fits whatever like hidden criteria that YouTube has decided to enforce. Yeah, like yeah, Laney knows what I'm talking about. they anybody who hasn't actually uploaded videos and like dealt with YouTube, it's never clear. I mean, I've had, well, I'm not gonna say never. I've had a couple of times where they told me, okay, this is copyrighted from a major studio like Warner Brothers or something, and they want you to, I need to take out this 30 seconds or whatever. I mean, the outro clip that I have, I get a copyright strike on it every time I show it. But since I'm not doing this for monetization, I don't really care. George Galloway was detained. I'm not surprised. I mean, I keep telling people I think it's honestly going to get worse before it gets a lot better. I think we're going to see a lot of crazy things come about. So I know I jumped to RBN and I was kind of already going for something because that first topic that I talked about lined up perfectly. Perfect segue for me to get into another one. I jumped off of that. Now I'm going to hop back onto the Comey one, and I want to share this video with everybody. And apologies if it jumps the gun because of my autoplay. But let's go on ahead and share this. Hopefully my signal holds up. It was giving me too many problems. If it does, please let me know. Oh, he's banned from streaming. Okay. I mean, it sucks. Do you guys know if they've been demonetized or not? That's one thing I wonder. So here, I'll go ahead and go into the, that sucks. Detained under the Terrorism Act. And his wife. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, they detained Richie too. And it's more of an inconveniencing because they don't really have anything solid on you. It's just an inconvenience. But here, let's hop into this.
Director James Comey got caught lying, but Comey says he's innocent after his 2-count indictment by a federal grand jury. He's charged with making a false statement and obstruction related to his testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee in 2020. And this comes just days after President Trump publicly demanded the Justice Department prosecute Comey and other political enemies. Now Comey's denying those allegations in a video post.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
ABC News Washington Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Falders and legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer are here with more on that. So, Catherine, walk us through this indictment and how it came together.
Well, it came together rather hastily. As we know, this has been something that's just really played out this week after Trump appointed Lindsay Halligan as former defense attorney to lead that office. She presented to the grand jury by herself alone, which I know, as Brian knows well, that's highly unusual. Usually your assistant U.S. attorneys go and present to the grand jury, but she didn't have that. And it's because I'm told by sources that most people in that office declined to help her with this, given that they believed that there wasn't enough probable cause or evidence to ultimately bring charges. So she presented herself to the grand jury yesterday afternoon, and this all played out in the courthouse after the fact before a magistrate judge when they returned the indictment. Originally, they had 2 different pieces of paper, and we learned that one of the charges that they were trying to seek on a false statement was actually declined by the grand jury. Of course, the other 2, the ones you mentioned there of lying to Congress and obstruction of a congressional proceeding were in fact verified by the grand jury.
Brian, how serious are these charges, and what will prosecutors have to prove?
So, Dan, the charges are serious in the sense that they do carry a potential maximum of 5 years in prison if convicted. We do know, though, based on federal sentencing guidelines, if Comey is convicted, and that is an if because we don't even know what the arraignment is or a lot of information going forward, and he's already calling for a trial, it would likely be a lot less. But in order for the prosecution to be successful here, they have to show that Comey willfully and knowingly made a false, fictitious, or misleading statement when it came to whether or not he had authorized another person, as the indictment argues, to leak information to the media. The second charge, I believe it is obstruction for the same statement, but it doesn't actually say what Comey is allegedly obstructing and what statement it is. It could be a different statement, but the assumption is it's the same one. And they have to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. The difficulty in this is the ability to prove intent, to prove that he knows, or he knew, when he made that statement, he was lying and not just misunderstanding or whatever it may be. Intent is hard to prove in a case like this.
Catherine, this all stems from testimony Comey gave in 2020, where he said he didn't authorize an anonymous leak to the press. What more can you tell us about that?
Pointed out, this indictment really, it's only 2 pages. It doesn't say exactly the statement that they're charging here, but it is the statement from his Senate testimony in 2020 in a back and forth exchange that Comey had with Ted Cruz. And of course, the question is whether they'll be able to prove intent. And Cruz is essentially summarizing testimony that Comey gave 3 years prior to that. There's questions about whether the summary of that testimony was really accurate or not. But of course, Comey goes back and forth with Cruz over whether or not he authorized his then Deputy Director of the FBI, Andy McCabe, to release information to the media. It gets a bit complicated and weedsy here, but the reality is it comes down to whether they can improve intent or not. And prosecutors in that office, most of them don't believe that they can.
Brian, you're a defense attorney. How do you expect Comey's attorneys to approach this case?
So the big umbrella arguments that we as defense attorneys make is either one, the prosecution can't prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt because they can't put forward the sufficient amount of information, or two, the client is innocent because of an alternative theory or alternative argument. Here, which is interesting as well, is the prior U.S. attorney, Siebert, in this case, actually had a memo listing out why he believed this case shouldn't go forward. So now, unlike most normal cases, the defense has a third alternative. Someone in that office, prior to being terminated by the president, actually gave them an outline as to why this case doesn't work. And that will definitely be used at the heart of the defense's case.
All right, Catherine Falders, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you both.
Let's see, stop. I forgot, where did I put that? I got a bazillion things. I don't know where I put that. Here's the sorry about that. Forgot my autoplay was on. But my thoughts on that is that, and I'll answer your question after Yonina. I honestly think this is going to go nowhere with Comey, because for one, trying to prove intent, you literally have to have some kind of documentation, audio recording, a witness that's going to say, yes, he said that he intentionally was trying to do this for this intent. I honestly think we're probably going to see a rash more of things like this. It's the only reason why I'm covering it, because I think this is going to become a pattern. Excuse me. All the people who Trump feels he was wronged by, he's going to try to go after them in some kind of way, some shape or some form. I don't believe he has a leg to stand on in doing this, and I think it's possible that you could be setting James Comey up for a very large lawsuit. It's the reason why many people within the prosecutor's office decided not to help with this case. And it's going to be looked at. I also look at the precedent that you're setting by going after, the former head of the FBI and trying to make this political. You're just setting it up where you're going to have politicians going back and forth, locking each other up, or at least trying to. Now, granted, I'm speaking from an analyst point of view when I'm talking about that. I'm not speaking from like how I care. Do I care if they decide to lock Comey up? No. Do I care if they decide to start locking each other up? No, not really, because I feel in some way, some shape or form, they're all corrupt. And they all need to be taken out of power, or at least taken down a peg or two. So I'm not going to sit there and boohoo crying if this happens to Comey and then it turns around and Ray, it happens to him later, or this happens to Cash Patel and Bongino. I think most of these people who are young in the Trump administration, they are opportunists and they're doing what they feel they can do to please the dear leader. But when Trump is out of power and Trump is passed away and, you know, the Democrats have the power, these people are setting themselves up for a world of hurt later, because a lot of people with hurt feelings are going to feel like, you know what, you've crossed a line. Whereas if you or I do something, us plebs, us people on the lower end of the totem pole, or even towards the middle of the totem pole, if we do something, consequences are going to be most of the time levied upon us. But for these people, once they get into this political sphere or legal sphere, upper echelon, they are above the law, you know, in a sense. So they've always kind of had this thing, like they could have went after Nixon, they could have went after Reagan, they could have went after Clinton. I mean, like criminally, they could have went after many of these presidents on the criminal side, and they chose to not do that. And what they're going to set up is a precedent where, okay, now we are going to start throwing political leaders in prison, in jail, as you see what's happening over there in France right now. Even in Italy, I'm trying to remember his name. I'm blanking on it right now, but his is different. His is a whole different other story. And he definitely does belong in prison. But when you start going after these politicians and they start throwing each other in prison, for somebody who wants to maintain this framework of America and Constitution and a nation state, you're going to start ripping the fabric of all that apart once you start throwing each side's political leaders in prison. And so, hey, I worry about one kingdom, not this one in particular. So whatever happens, happens. And I mean, when the ship starts to get a little rocky, you can just hold on. That's all we can do in that sense. So I think that this is going to set a negative precedent. I've already heard about a couple of other people who are possibly on Trump's list. Letitia James, was it DC's mayor, Muriel Bowser? I've heard. So there's a good possibility he's going to start going down the list. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to go after Hillary Clinton, because a lot of people talked about it before in the past, and because they never did anything. I think there's still that desire for it, and with the Epstein stuff not really being released like what was promised, it's going to need another distraction. So I can see a strong possibility of something like that happening. So just putting that out there. Let's see. Nina says they crossed the line with Jimmy Kimmel. Disney couldn't take the hemorrhage. Yeah, I mean, they were going to pay a cost for it. And most of these, that's the crazy part about it. They're already making money hand over fist, and they're trying to worry about getting another merger to make more and more money. And it's like, are you going to sell out so much for the money that you don't have any kind of principles? I get you're capitalists and all that, but there was a point where capitalists back in the day used to be like, no, all money ain't good money, and I'm not about to bend over and be bullied and picked on by a president or a government because I need a couple extra dollars and I need to make sure I keep the board happy. So I don't know, it's getting to a sketchy area. I see Babe is in the building. What's up, Brew Bones? What's up, Lizzie? Let's make sure everybody say hey. Hopefully you're safe out there. Yeah, the perjury thing's not going to go anywhere. Hexit, what you asked me about Hexit, I don't know what I could say about Hexit because I think the dude's an idiot. Um, I think he's a complete fool. And about it being Department of War, I mean, hopefully they'll start calling more things what they actually are. We've never been the Department of Defense. It's always been about war. So the whole thing of calling him a peacetime president, there's no such thing as a peacetime president. America, out of its, 200 plus years of being a nation, has only spent 13 years roughly where it has not been fighting some kind of a war. So the whole peace thing has always been, just a branding exercise, or defense is a branding exercise. She said, "Hey, Mrs. Morpheus." But let's see, your Earth America reality show is getting really bizarre, Marcus. It definitely is. It definitely is. I mean, I just saw recently that Trump just signed an EO for going after Antifa, basically. And I'm like, whatever. I mean, Trump also went over to United Nations and started talking to the Europeans. I'm not conflating things, but anyway, he spoke over in Europe about they need to handle their immigration and stuff. It's like, no, go worry about your country, man. Go. I don't get. That's one thing I never understood, why American presidents weigh into other countries' affairs. Like, granted, our CIA does it, our State Department and all them, they weigh in there actually doing things. But it's like, as a president, shut up. Just shut up. Yeah. I think, honestly, Trump is probably he's going to go down as probably the most petty president. To me, I already think he's the dumbest president we've ever had. But this administration I honestly feel like Republicans, what they're doing right now with this administration, they're going to make sure that they put themselves out of power for a good long while. And because it's going to show that if they get the right leader or wrong leader, whatever, in power, all of them are just going to fall lockstep and there's going to be no pushback. And so when you see a whole party full of lemmings, how can you trust that party? So yeah, I saw that. I saw that about the superintendent. I was going to cover that when I get to the other story, but let's hold that off for the time being. And let me get to, let's see, what was it? Dang, it was something else. You named it. You distracted me. I was meaning to talk about one other thing before I went into the ICE stuff, but I don't know. If it comes back to me, it comes back to me. So could be used. Ew. That was gross. For those who are reading the chat, you guys can probably see what I'm talking about. But I definitely am not about to repeat that. Let's see. Well, since you brought that up, let's see what I got in my chat. The videos I got here. Oh yeah, it was some an interesting story that was going on in Houston, which I'm just keeping my eye on. I don't know for a fact anything about it, but I just figure I'll just mention it briefly, and we should pay attention to it. It says Mayor Houston PD pushes back on serial killer rumors after 5 bodies in bayous turn up. So it was a little rumor was going around social media that they possibly had a serial killer in the area, and the mayor is pushing back on that. So if we see more people pop up in that way, we will see. Breaking food news: the Hillshire Brands company recalls corn dogs and sausage other steak products due to possible extraneous matter contamination. Well, I'm glad I do not eat pork, and so that's not something I even have to focus on. But for those who do, make sure you guys take this note from Chuck. But yeah, I guess, yeah, Gunny, now going ahead and what are you talking about, Yonina? What are you talking about? But let me see, let's close that. Close a couple of these links so I can see what the hell this stuff actually is on my screen. So just bear with me as I close a few links out. All right, so that mayor not mayor, but superintendent you were talking about. Let's bring that up. Sorry, let me turn my autoplay off. That way it's not jumping ahead of me. But yes, I saw that story about the superintendent. I set it aside just in case to cover it. But since you mentioned it, I'll bring it up. And I'm kind of wondering, for the chat, I don't know how you guys feel about it or if you've heard this story, but let me know your thoughts on it once I share this.
The superintendent of Iowa's largest school district is also in ICE custody. Dr. Ian Roberts, who was originally from Guyana in South America, was detained this morning. The Department of Homeland Security claims ICE officers approached Roberts in a school vehicle and he sped away. Officials say he then abandoned the vehicle before federal agents picked him up. Iowa Department of Public Safety says they helped ICE to locate a person who fled a traffic stop. DHS also says Roberts already had a weapons charge and was found with a loaded handgun, $30,000 in cash, and a fixed blade hunting knife. The school board says their focus is keeping students safe and supported, while the teachers' unions call his detainment a dark and unsettling time for the district.
Dr. Roberts joined us in July 2023 and has held educational leadership positions in districts across the U.S. for 20 years. The Iowa Board of Educational Examiners issued Dr. Roberts a license to serve as superintendent in the state of Iowa in July 2023. There is new information that has been made public that we did not know, and we have not been able to verify as to whether that information is accurate.
In the meantime, Associate Superintendent Matt Smith will step in to lead Des Moines Public Schools. DHS says Roberts entered the U.S. in 1999 on a student visa and received a final order of removal by an immigration judge in May 2024. Iowa's 2nd District Rep. Ashley Henson releasing a statement calling for Roberts' immediate deportation and saying he shouldn't have been anywhere near kids in the state.
That is interesting. Close that window. Yeah, so I wonder how a case like that happens. How does that come about where the superintendent has weapons charges and that doesn't get reported back to the school board? How that story doesn't hit their desk? And I don't know, different states are different. For instance, in the state of Florida, where I lived for over 10 years, in Florida, they have, I guess, like a Freedom of Information Act where basically everything is like available for the public. And so if you get arrested, no matter for what it is, if it's something as big as like robbing a bank, or you're brought in, on some kind of homicide or charges or anything. It can be, it can be shoplifting. It can be out there solicitation. Anything that you do out there, DUIs, all of that. I remember I used to buy them all the time. I'm trying to remember what they call it. the magazine was called Mugshot. Well, not magazine, but it's like a little newspaper, old school type newspaper. It's like a dollar, a couple of dollars or so. And it would literally have everybody who was like locked up over the weekend, over the past week. And so living in a state like that where the moment you get in trouble, your job, everybody will find out very quickly. It's kind of surprising to me that, for one, they didn't know what his status was, and there was no steps to try to get ahead of like whatever his status was on trying to get lawyers and try to appeal his case and get everything in line. The fact that they hired him and there was all of that hanging out there. And when did this weapons charge come about? Was this before he became superintendent? Was this while he was superintendent? I don't know. It's kind of an interesting situation, but it also brings up something that, kind of been hinted around. There's been a lot of people in the Black community who've been like, oh, well, that immigration stuff, that's them people over there. That's their problem. Well, when you start seeing high profile people like him who have the darker skin, then that's going to open up where ICE just starts rounding up and snatching anybody. So if you end up in any of us end up in an ICE detention center, you're like, no, I'm an American. I was born and raised here. They're like, yeah, whatever. I know you're Nigerian. I know you're Guyanese like him. I know you're a Colombian. I know you're French, whatever. You're Canadian. It's setting up an interesting situation where people are just going to start getting round up and don't think it can't happen to you because you may be a white person or a Black person. You were born in this country. I just wanted to say that. Marcus, do you know who's running for NYC mayor? Yes, but I haven't really paid a lot of attention to it. I don't know. What's are you talking about because of the possibility of his status not being on, being completely straightened out or whatever? Mom Donnie, is that what you're talking about? Which, hey, James Manning. Who's James Manning? Not familiar with him. Yeah, who is James Manning? Anybody else familiar with James Manning? Wait a minute, that sounds familiar. Pastor James Manning. Hold on a second. Wait one cotton picking minute. Pastor James Manning. That sounds real familiar. I'm trying to see, is this the James Manning that I think you're talking about? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. You can't be serious. You cannot be serious. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. This dude is running. Wow. You know what? Let me pull up a video of Pastor James Manning. So for those who are not familiar with him, you guys can be familiar in that. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. I think maybe he's just doing this for more. He's just doing this for some more attention. Wow. I cannot. This dude, for those who are not familiar, well, let's share some Pastor James Manning for you. Didn't have this on my bingo card for today.
Let me tell you something about black folk. Let me tell you something about Negroes. Let me tell you something about niggas. Now, this is not racist or anything, praise the Lord. But Satan used an African man and a white trash woman to give birth to this wicked spirit called Barack Hussein Obama. Barack's father did what 70% of all black men do. Run off and leave and don't support. He is not black. He's white trash. He's white trash. Barack Hussein Obama is white trash. I hate Barack Hussein Obama, who is nothing but a long-legged devil right out of the pit of hell. And if you don't mind my saying it, Jesus hates him too. You got children you haven't taken care of. And if you can't take care of your own children, how can you then say you're ready to choose a president to take care of the nation? I'm not responsible for it. I'm just trying to show you how no good you are. And yet you want to talk about choosing a black man to be your president. You have no honor. You have no honor. You make babies like Aunt Jemima makes biscuits. Now get angry about that. So I got news for you about niggas. The way they turned on Bill for Barack, I don't have to worry about them being against me. They'll come on back. They're fickle. They're not committed to anything. And if they commit to something, you can't trust them. They don't stay with anything very long. So if they mad with me now, y'all be glad with me tomorrow. All I got to do is get some government cheese and run through 3 government programs through here. And I do declare every nigga in Harlem will be coming to this church for the government program, and I know it. And I know it's the truth. Thank you, Elder, but I know it's the truth. Worry about these folks being upset with you. I know y'all's behavior. That's right. That's who they are. That's who they are. Obama. That's who they're saying now. Obama. This Barack Hussein Obama is being catapulted into the position where he looks like she's got a dip of snuff in it. That's about the ugliest woman. I mean, if Whoopi Goldberg and Michelle Obama were in a beauty contest, Whoopi would win. I mean, but what's this business about how beautiful she is? Plus of all, she's a big old Amazon woman. I'm a man, I'm 6'2", 225, 240 pounds myself. But I wouldn't be caught dead with a woman that big. Barack's out there in Honolulu trying to convince Michelle to fist bump Obama. By the way, if my wife, Elizabeth here, y'all see her, they altered. This brother, this man, this whatever he is, android, does not have the normal blood running through his veins. You got Condoleezza Rice as the Secretary of State running around as a black woman. I don't hear any of the black commentators or these black people and non-child support fathers praising Condoleezza. So it isn't about blackness. It's about ignorance with you. It isn't about blackness because you be talking about Colin Powell. And until you do that, don't talk to me about that white trash called Barack Hussein Obama. I've been fighting this war and will continue to fight it. Barack Hussein fails black men. Next murder to take place, for the next rape to take place, for the next genocide to take place, for the next abortion to take place, it needs the signature of Mr. Obama. Y'all are a despicable, despisable group. You are wicked, incorrigible people, you black people. You are cursed.
Yeah. So that guy. Yeah. That guy. Woo! All right. Yes. Uncle Ruckus in real life without the glass eye. Yeah. Jeez Louise. And that's just like, I mean, this dude got so much stuff. I mean, that's just like his Obama rants. I mean, he got some other ones that are some humdingers. This one is titled "Blacks Are the Best Slaves." Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one. I want to share this with y'all. Oh wow, that's old Kyle Kalinske. Yeah, let's get into this one. Let's get into this. This is old Kyle Kalinske. Back when I used to watch him and take him serious. I think I remember this back then too.
It's just more of an opportunity for us to get more press and to get more coverage to explain our position and as to who we are. Right now, the articles are jumping all over the place. I've gotten calls from everybody about this, the news organization. In fact, can I share this with you, to all the sodomites that think that you're going to purchase this church on a foreclosure sale? Let me tell you something. Before you can ever own the Lord's house, because that's what this is. That's right. Like, this is the Lord's house. This ain't no damn bathhouse. That's right. This ain't no fag house. This is the Lord's house. Amen. And before you can ever own this property, hook or crook to own this property, you will be carrying, men who are fags with testicles will be carrying babies in their testicles and giving birth to them through their anus. That's how impossible it is for you to get this house. That's right. When you start carrying a baby in your bags and birthing that baby through your ass, then you can own this house. Until I see you pull a baby out your ass, you ain't gonna pull this church out from underneath us. And boom, shakalaka goes right there. And all you fags can go to hell and do it now. I'm James David Manning, everybody. I'm the Lord's servant.
I can't with this guy. Who the fuck was?
Woo! Yeah. Yeah, that's some interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff there. Oh, he hates Trump, really? Where'd you send it to me at, Hamza? No, he's not a Zionist. He really hates Israel. No, I don't want to play the fire in the... Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So, let's see. Or I'll just play the audio of it. Let's see.
So we outside, 123rd and Malcolm X. So you remember before this was, what was the street name before?
I can't play that's almost an hour long. You have to give me a timestamp to play that. Play it from 20-minute mark. Let's see.
Can win against Mondami. But I have the fire, I have the strength, I have the record, I have the experience to beat Mondami like he stole something from Mother Teresa. But if those two come and stand beside me with an endorsement and then campaign with me, New York will be saved from that Muslim. That's what I'd like to also tag onto everything else that we said.
That's a real quick, final question for me. When people use the word coon, Sambo, and stuff like that, does that bother you at all?
It does.
Because I saw that you said that I watched something where you addressed that. Like, you guys calling me coon, Sam, but this is not what it is. Why does it bother you?
Because it's a degrading statement. Yeah. But some statements evolve, like the word nigga. You my nigga, hey, come on, my nigga, you know my, come on, nigga, like, you know you my nigga, you know. But it's really a degrading statement.
It is.
At one point in time, it had a lot of pain. But others have taken the word now and brought it to the point where it's an entertaining word. You just laugh when Dave Chappelle says it, you know. I think it was what's a comedian that said that he would never use the word again? I forget his old-time comedian. Lord have mercy. One of the first that broke out in terms of being a black comedian, but the word has evolved. So the word coon is a degrading word. It's an animalistic word. And what's the other word you use?
Sambo.
Sambo. Yeah, that's the guy that sits in front of the house.
She's back.
I'm going to hell. You never met me in your life. I asked you a question about what my little baby's asked, and you condemn me. I just don't understand.
Because I have the power to do it.
You want to run for mayor,
and I'm going to be the mayor.
Ask God to speak to your heart. That's all I ask. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm on the news. I actually can't.
You are going to hell.
Came on camera, man.
And your children are going with you.
Whoa, Pastor, come on.
The Bible says that the children shall suffer the plagues of their fathers to the third and the fourth generations. And the things that you've done, the things that, well, I know I'm talking to someone who doesn't know the Lord, so doesn't know the Bible. I'm talking to someone
who I come from. Stop.
You had the opportunity to walk your skinny behind up the street.
That's all I need to hear.
You had the opportunity to walk up the street and mind your own business. You had the opportunity to mind your own business, but you came in and interjected yourself in a private conversation. Go to hell.
Ma'am, keep it on me. Keep it on me. Okay, we're gonna respect that. Do you think that by coming, because you did come back here and like you said, it was a private conversation. So do you think that by giving your opinion, because you call it was
I actually had a question.
It was accusatory though.
No, I said I actually always wanted to know, and then I was going to go back to the kids and say, guess what, guys? I saw the guy who's on the picture of the bands, and this is what he said, right? Because my kids were like heady.
Got it.
And so I wanted to say he said blah 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 blah, and they would have been like, oh, blah 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 blah.
Got it.
So I was like, oh, guys, guess what? You know, you're always saying whenever you see a cross, that's usually a man who represents God, right? Who represents love.
Yes, ma'am.
We may disagree with what he thinks, but ultimately, we wouldn't put him down. It's God who judges, right?
Got it.
We can't condemn. We can just ask what Jesus tells us to do, right?
Yes.
So accept him in our hearts as our personal savior.
Yes.
And that's all we have to do.
Yes.
And he'll love us and we'll go right to heaven with our ancestors, right?
Okay.
That's our only job. So man of God, that's what he needs to tell me. He needs to say, have you accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal savior? And whether I have or haven't, that's his job. But to tell me that I'm going to hell, for him to tell her that she's going to hell, that's not a man of God. That is a false prophet. And then he just told me that my 13-year-old twins and my 16-year-olds are going to hell.
And they are.
I don't even know. That's insane. No man who hates children is a man of God. Take the cross off. Don't say Jesus.
Let me ask you a question.
Love the little children.
Let me ask you a question.
No, you're a false prophet. It's scary to be around you. You can put on a fabulous suit.
Oh, you like my suit?
This is not a man of God.
You
tell me how it's
You like my suit?
Thank
Do you know of any children that die in Israel? Do you know of children that die in Gaza? Do you know of children that die for religious purposes? Do you know children that are starving now in Africa?
But you can't allow me to ask you
Do you know of children that are starving in Africa? I'm a preacher. I have a strong voice.
No, you
Do you know? Do you know of children that are starving in Africa? What about God taking care of those children? Why don't you go help the children in Africa?
All right, so I gave a little bit of that, but I can't play all of it. I already played a couple of snippets. So, but yeah, wow, and that's recent. In fact, when was this? 13 days ago. So yeah, he's up to his he's in his bag. Two more minutes. Come on. Who else wants me to play more? Y'all let me know. Somebody else wants me to play more, then I'll play more. Just talking about his policies. Who else wants me to play more? If anybody else say play more, then I'll play more. Of course. Of course. All right. I'll play 2 more minutes. That's it.
Absolutely.
You know it's not true. You don't really want to be mayor. You just want attention. You got it. Look, talk to all these people. You can't say you're a man of Jesus and then say that children who you never met and me whom you never met are going to hell even though Jesus is in my heart.
You're in pain, aren't you?
You don't know.
Otherwise, you'd mind your own business. You're in pain.
No, because you're
Go home.
hate in my neighborhood.
Go home.
Go home.
Leave me alone. This is a personal
And
conversation.
don't say you're running for mayor. Don't say you care about a city.
I'm going to be the next mayor.
But you think the people of the city are going to hell.
Many of them are.
Be a man of intellect.
Many of them deserve to go.
Be a man of intellect and faith. Do your homework.
That's your
and
idea.
Stop being a false prophet.
That's your idea. You're hurting. I tell you what, come for 1 second. Come for 1 second. Come for 1 second.
People are going to hell. What are you going to do for them as mayor before they go to hell?
I'm not the one that said, "Oh, I'm going to help people." I'm going to try to teach them. I'm going to teach them the truth. I'm going to teach them the truth so they'll know their way for not going to hell. I'm going to teach you the truth. Right now, the pain is in your heart. The truth hurts. You're hurting. You are hurting because of what I said to you. You are hurting because I told you the truth. You're in pain right now. You're going to be in pain for the next 2 weeks about this very same pain till you get down on your knees, and she's fat, isn't she? And Earl is washed up, isn't he?
That's what Jesus would want you to say as a man who's speaking for
Jesus called people hypocrites, snakes, fools, blind guys. You read your Bible. He called people snakes. He called them fools. He called them blind guys. You're hurting. You're hurting.
You're angry.
No, you're hurting. I didn't come to your house. You
just tried to stop.
You interrupted me in my conversation. Go home. Now, what about you?
I don't know. You sound like a shit mayor candidate, frankly. You haven't said anything that said that you deserve to run for the mayor of the city of 8 million people. All you said is that...
Now, what I can tell you is this, whether you agree with me or not, I'm going to be the next mayor of the city of New York. I got the power, I got the fire, I got the attention. I'm going to be the next mayor.
Okay, tell me what policies you have.
I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you. Read the announcement.
Candidate, you don't have to tell me what policies you have.
You want the policies? Come. Come. Don't be strident. Come. You see this? Policies for the people. Can you read? Policy number 1, policy number 2, policy number 3, policy number 4.
Here, since I don't have the screen, I'll read off this. Dang, there's a poll right in the way. It's talking about I will create no sales tax on food in restaurants, warehouses, purveyors, and grocery stores. I will raise minimum wage to $27 per hour. I will require tax collection from underserved or low-income neighborhood stores pending qualifications. I will collect, I think it's hands in the way. Federal legislation to grant over ownership of Clayton Powell building. So I guess there's a couple of his policies.
Can you read?
Yeah, I can read, sir. No problem. You don't have to talk down to me.
I'm not talking down, okay? Okay.
But what else do you have going for you? What about public transit? What about environmental stuff? Well, what is this? This is like 4 policies for a city of 8 million people.
Okay. So what you want, environmental? Then maybe you want to get some other candidate who maybe talks about environment.
Yeah, maybe someone who's a little more well-rounded. You're fully capable of adding those policies.
If you think that someone's more well, then vote for them. This is a free country.
So then what's the point of your candidacy?
Because I'm going to win.
All right. You do that.
I will.
All right.
I will. I got your attention. And you ain't going to never forget me either.
But is that necessarily a good thing, sir? Oh, boy. Yes, men of God hate strife, and the Holy Bible says that he is not a man of God. I mean, this man... I don't know. There are some people who believe that there is benefit to going around and insulting and yelling at people and whatever, but I just look like Hamza says there. I just laugh at him. I just look at him as a fool. Can a fool be right about some things? Yes. Does the Bible talk about sins of the fathers going to the 3rd and 4th generation? Yes, it does. Is he using the proper context? No. But context with a guy like that, it's a waste of time. Also, even the most studied people that you can meet that are, went to seminary school or whatever, are a lot of times going to have different understandings of different biblical texts. So we can leave it at that. But yeah, that was interesting. You wanted to find out. See, y'all being a hot mess. I'm not gonna read that one, but let's see what was the next story that I wanted to get into. Show you guys. So with all these distractions and stuff like that are going on, share a little clip about the Epstein stuff. You guys won't have to worry. Since I got up really early and not running on a whole lot of sleep, this will not be a super long show. I'm just letting you guys know. At least not of many things that I have to cover. If you guys want to ask me more questions and stuff like that, I'll stick around for a while and answer some questions and stuff. But I'm going to try to skip through these stories pretty quickly and probably get some sleep. Which I know I tell myself that I'm going to get sleep, but whether I do it or not is a different story. But I do have other things I need to get done. But back to it. So let me share this. I'm going to get to that. So which video? Dang it, I did not mean to copy that. Sleep is how the body heals. Yeah, I don't get a lot of sleep, which apologies, I do need to get more. I can probably give you guys a much better show if I probably got more sleep. But the House has released some of the Epstein stuff, so I figured I will share some of that with you all.
Oversight Committee today released more files turned over by the estate of Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender. President Trump is not mentioned in the documents, but as Nicole Killian reports, a number of other prominent men are.
From Elon Musk to Bill Gates, the latest batch of Epstein-related documents reads like a who's who. Take this entry from Jeffrey Epstein's itinerary dated December 6, 2014. Reminder, Elon Musk to island. Is this still happening? While it's unclear which island this refers to, Epstein regularly invited guests to Little St. James in the Caribbean, his own private island, which he used as a base for allegedly abusing underage girls. There is no evidence Musk made the trip. Another entry years later reads, Saturday, February 16, 2019, 7 a.m., breakfast with Steve Bannon. Both Bannon, a former White House advisor, and Musk, a tech titan and ex-Doge czar, are among the staunchest allies of President Trump, who continues to downplay the ongoing investigation.
It's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant.
Today's release totals over 8,500 documents and includes phone messages, flight logs, and manifest, as well as copies of Epstein's financial ledger and daily schedule, like this item from December 5th, 2014, showing a TBD breakfast party with Microsoft founder Bill Gates. Ex-wife Melinda told CBS News in 2022 that his relationship with Epstein played a role in their divorce.
We reached out to representatives for several of the individuals named, including Gates, Musk, and Bannon, but have not heard back. A spokesperson for the GOP-led oversight panel accused Democrats of cherry-picking documents and politicizing the investigation. Maurice?
Nicole Killian on the Hill tonight. Thanks so much.
Yeah, so a lot is that. Close that out. But, yeah. I just wanted to drop that little bit of extra information. Of course, they're only sharing the information that they feel can make Trump look bad, but it also makes it interesting that people like Bannon and Musk would talk so much about the Epstein files when they know that their names are going to pop up also. I don't know, it's bizarre to me. If I knew that my name was in some crap like that, there's no way I would ever even think about talking about that. But I mean, maybe that's a different level of arrogance that I've never comprehended. But yeah, they were. I just want to share that real quick. It's not much, but it's just one video that I did want to share with you guys. That's what I know I'll do it. Yeah. So let's pull up. Actually, let me get the video ready first. So that's crazy that Pastor Manning is actually running. Crazy. But hey, it is New York. You mean anybody can hop in and run if they got a big enough wallet, big enough profile. Oh, I didn't pull up a video for the ICE detention. I wanted to pull up a video on it, but I figured we can just talk about it a little bit. I'm kind of curious some of you guys' thoughts on the mass shooting. Well, yeah, I guess technically it would be another mass shooting. He shot multiple people, including killing somebody. And I've come from the conclusion, from what I've heard about what they said about his friends and stuff, that many of those people, that he was one of those guys that he's like one of those Reddit type 4chan type people who's kind of shit posting and the whole anti-ICE thing while actually shooting the migrants. It's somebody who probably doesn't like migrants and throwing the anti-ICE to kind of say, you know what, I don't like anybody, and kind of just being a natural contrarian. I don't know. We're in a crazy time period. Did you see my message before YouTube erased it? Where you're talking about the one where it says, "Well, we know those documents were tampered with." Yeah, I can see that. But if you put another message, I did not see it. I just wonder. So, on the day that Charlie Kirk was shot, we already had another school shooting. We had that other shooting that happened right before that. We have this Dallas shooting. And so I wonder, are we about to start seeing more and more and more of these? And is there something going on? This is kind of off the beaten path. Hopefully I can find this real quick. Hopefully I can find this because there was something that I saw. Let me first search it up. Just some good points. I mean, it could mean nothing at all, but I just kind of want to bring this up because I just thought it was a little crazy. Mind you, I'm just bringing this up for entertainment. I do not know this to be true at all. I just kind of wanted to bring this up because this caught my attention. And I don't know. I just want to get you guys' thoughts on this when I play this video real quick. Hello, Jacqueline. Good to see you. Says I just woke up and I got this pop-up notification on my device. So here you are. Glad to see you. Know the one about guillotine ready and letting your faith outweigh. Well, that we do need to do. But with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, I just wanted to bring this video up. Dang, how do I keep doing that? I keep copying the wrong thing. But dang it, I hit the wrong button again. There it is. Share screen. Come on. So, I just want to bring it up because this is some weird connections were brought up. And like, for those who brought up, of course, that they believe that a certain nation was behind this. I've heard that. I've heard people say that they definitely believe it was this kid, but he was held. And I've heard a bunch of different things, but I didn't really quite hear anybody bring up these points before. And I can always count on Larry Johnson to kind of come from a different angle. And sometimes I take it with a grain of salt, listen to it, toss it over my shoulder. Sometimes he says something and I'm like, I don't know what that means. But that is a weird, crazy coincidence. So without building up and without re-talking over and over and over about it, let me just show you guys this video. So tell me what you think. Where is the sound?
For the Charlie Kirk ritual, there's a movie called Snake Eyes, which came out in 1998. And in that movie, U.S. politician Charles Kirkland is assassinated at a live event by a shot through the neck. Charles Kirkland, like Charles Kirk. And obviously, Charlie Kirk was also shot in the neck, allegedly, right? Well, in the movie Snake Eyes, the heavyweight boxer Lincoln Tyler is in the ring during the assassination. Tyler, like Tyler Robinson. And in Gematria, Lincoln Tyler is 165, like Tyler Robinson is 165, and his nickname is the Executioner, okay? Well, the big part here, guys, in the movie Snake Eyes, the assassination occurs on September 10th. Charlie Kirk was allegedly assassinated on September 10th. Can you believe this, guys? You guys got to share this with everyone you can. This is undeniable. And also, see how Nicolas Cage is doing the hands like Charlie Kirk. Also, Donald Trump does that hand sign. And also, we're in the year of the snake right now. It's called Snake Eyes. But wow, just you put that all together. Charles Kirkland shot in the neck. Lincoln Tyler equals Tyler Robinson. And you're telling me the assassination in the movie happened on September 10th, the same day the Charlie Kirk event happened? Oh, my goodness. Hey guys, welcome back at show.
I don't know. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if that's all BS. But doesn't that seem a little weird to you guys? Like I said, this could all be a crazy coincidence. I mean, I remember this movie in '98. And yes, the boxer's name was Lincoln the Executioner Tyler. Now flip forward, what would this be, 27 years later? You have Tyler Robinson, which is the executioner of Charlie Kirk, and Lincoln Tyler, who the executioner who was in the ring at the time that Charles Kirkland was shot in the neck. And if I remember correctly, I believe they were both shot in the left side of the neck. I don't know. I don't really buy. I mean, I'm not good with math. So as much as people try to explain that gematria stuff to me, my brain has just refused to absorb that information. But those are some weird coincidences. And both September 10th, I don't know what it means. But I know that that's weird. Now, whether that's some kind of elites playing some kind of elaborate game in a way of taking down him, whether he got on the wrong side of people and they decided, oh, we're going to do it at this time with this person so it matches up with this name, I don't know. Or if this is intelligent design, if this is happening on high, where God is playing this game, where God is like, you know what, it'd be real funny if I took out Charlie Kirk on the same day. I don't know. I'll leave it out there for y'all to decide. I mean, I do believe in conspiracy theory stuff to a degree, but of late, more things that especially dealing with mass shootings and shootings in general, I've kind of waned away from a lot more of the conspiracy theories, because what I find is so many of the time there's so many of these people who are in a rush to put out a theory and be the first person and get all this attention and get the clicks. And what happens is they get that information out there, they get those clicks, and then what happens later on is when the revisions come out, when the corrections come out, that doesn't get reported nearly as much. And so what happens is the false story stays out there, perpetuates, and people take these to, dangerous levels because they never really dug in and they've accepted a lot of times a false narrative. I can't tell you how many of these, like for instance, I remember Redacted, and I heard them make a statement about a lot of these mass shooters, and they were talking about how, they're all on drugs, and they basically started blaming it as if the pharmaceutical companies were giving them these drugs, and the drugs are why they did the actions that they did, ignoring the fact that these people had all of these signs and issues long before anybody prescribed them these drugs. And so I just want to put that out there, that a lot of times I don't like to just run with this information. And like I'll say again, I believe in conspiracy theories and stuff like that too, but I need to know how, why, when, what, where. These things need to at least make sense so that we're not just taking a bunch of circumstantial evidence, so that we can actually start to build a case on something and build something that can tangentially make some sense. Whereas some of these theories I hear out there from people, I just don't feel they make that sense, and they're not taken to that degree. Yonina says, also, Nicolas Cage has been in multiple prophetic scenarios and spiritually charged movies, like the movie The Knowing, which I do know the 2 books of Numbers. I mean, DARPA's involved in things like that, but without knowledge of exactly what they're doing, I don't feel comfortable just throwing their name out there when anything comes up. Because I feel when we do that, to people who we possibly could kind of help explain something to and show them a perspective, if it's oversaturated with people who just jump on every conspiracy, and it's not like laid out in a succinct argument, it leaves room for people to just be more skeptical of everything you say. Or else they fall into the camp of believing everything you say as far as all these conspiracies, and then there's no basis for anything. If you have no baseline, how do you judge anything? I mean, I brought up plenty of times about when people talk about the fires out here, you don't need some kind of like super high technological laser to fire from virtually outer space to burn up, stuff out here in California. When it's dry out here, it's as simple as tossing a match outside, and you can burn half of a hillside down that easy. So if you could do that, and here's the thing, it could be from insurance company, somebody who works in there who's a little nefarious and knows who's going to get some extra claims and things like that, whatever. Somebody who might be the ones who try to come in, just like I remember growing up in Tornado Alley, we would see these people that they show up right after a storm to go buy the land, almost like a vulture picking over the bones. You have firebugs, and people who their intention is just to go out and burn stuff up. You have some homeless people who might have been cold at night. They set a little fire, it got out of control. You have people who are out there doing drug usage and smoking cigarettes and fall asleep, and it goes. There's just so many possible ways a lot of these things can happen, and it's not always, let's just jump to the most outlandish. Actually, let me take that back. I won't even say it's outlandish. Sometimes they're not outlandish. Sometimes it's like, I could see it. But just because you can see it as a possibility doesn't mean that's exactly what's going on. And I think we jump to that too quickly. And I get it, because the powers that be, the media, the people who should be trusted, have completely eroded all of our trust. Granted, I believe us and our parents' parents, they had a lot more trust in the media, but they also were skeptical about some of it. And I think they've just destroyed their credibility so much that we're willing to believe anything is possible, even if it's not that logical or probable, or it could be either one. So just wanted to put that out there. I mean, I see plenty of things all the time, like I talked about this last week with when Lainey was here, and I've kind of went down like a dark rabbit hole, and part of it is me just trying to get understanding of some of the psychology and where some of these young men and women's minds are at when they do some of these horrific acts. I think a part of it also was when I was in high school, it wasn't like there was as many or as frequent that I knew of mass shootings and school shootings and stuff now as it was back then. But even before Columbine, I completely forgot. I wonder why when Columbine happened, because I do have a memory of before Columbine, we were already spooked out about kids in trench coats and trench coat mafias and all that, because I was doing the math and I was realized Columbine happened my senior year. And it would have happened, a month before graduation, I think. But I realized at the same time that happened, there was a shooting that happened also during my senior year that happened that predated that one. And I think that maybe some of us, especially during that time period, had memory hold that event. It was a kid, was it Kip Kinkle? And this kid shot up his school, killed his parents, and literally he's still in prison to this day. They caught him alive and everything. And if you can stay and listen to the horrific details and definitely not go down that pathway, because I don't know, some people can read that stuff and then start glorifying these people and holding them up on a pedestal. I do not. I watch a lot of it in just the deepest disgust. But something calls me to try to figure what is going on in the psyche of these people. But I realized the Trenchcoat Mafia, that happened. Columbine, there was a shooting that was all over the news, probably maybe 6-7 months before that. That's very possible that part of that shooting could have been, what influenced, I can't remember what his name was. And it's probably good. I don't remember her name. I keep thinking Klebold and something else. But anyway, and for Columbine, how it influenced so many other people. And it's just pushing me to dig and do more research. Crazy enough, into Ted Kaczynski. For those who don't know him by that name, Ted Kaczynski was named the Unabomber. And some of his manifestos and what he believed. I don't know. I've kind of went off the rail a little bit. Apologies. But, that's just a little behind the scenes on what I've been looking at and where my head has been and trying to understand some of this stuff. Yes, there was earlier shootings in the late 70s, early 80s, inspired the Boomtown rap song, I Don't Like Mondays. Never heard of them. Yeah, I do know about the, Nina, you talked about how he was MK Ultra at school. Yeah, I do know, but I feel like I don't feel that's why he did what he did. I mean, so two things can be true. I do believe that that did have a bearing and influence on him, but I don't believe that that's why he did what he did. I believe that he was a very intelligent man who saw things. And do I agree with his method of trying to get people's attention to what was going on? Of course not. But I do think he was seeing something and envisioning the problem down the road that I don't think many people have digested and thought about. And I saw a video, another video was talking about where did the serial killers go? And I think where they went is the mass shooters. In that time period back then, a lot of them would start with something small, get away with it, do it again, get away with it, get better at it, do it again, get away with it, do it again, tease the media, get away with it. And because we live in a society where everything is so instantaneous, some of these people that I believe that are doing mass shootings probably decades earlier would have been serial killers. And it would took a longer to catch them because there's not cameras everywhere like there is now. Also, there wasn't people looking for these things to happen nearly as much. So I think we're just in a different time period. And I think all that matters. And yesterday, serial killers, that would be that one person who was operating in the dark, doing this over years and decades, became these kids now who are doing it all in one pop. No pun intended. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Garth Brooks thing. It's interesting. But let me try to get the show back on track. My apologies again for getting us all off track. But I don't know, just that's some of the stuff that I've been thinking about lately, and I guess I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention. Even though I didn't do it how I want to, I do want to do it on a long form thing and really dig into it and break it down and explain things. And I don't know, maybe that'll be a good time to see if I can invite Laney on and Warren, more than likely, that probably help kind of go through some of this stuff. Because I know I definitely probably need somebody to kind of help me keep me in line and keep me going linear on something like that. And I do know that the both of them will probably have some. I mean, without having to do research on this, remember some of these things definitely as well as I do, and some of this stuff even better, especially that, you know, Warren lived in New York for a while. Now, granted, I don't think it was during that time period, but, you know, he's probably met people who were living in the city during that time period. So, I don't know. I think that could be something that could be of utility. I think it'd be something that maybe people could gain something from. So, yeah, I don't know. That's happy to do it. Well, I see Laney is on board, and I'll make sure to talk to her because we talked about doing more collaborations. So Warren's on. Yeah, we'll talk about this, and because this is something I've been delving into, and I guess, I don't know, maybe if you guys have some time, I'll try to call both of you guys and we can do a group chat, group phone call and talk about this, and possibly even do something as early as next week. It's just really been on my mind a lot lately, and even though some of it has been just really, really, really rough to listen through, especially the kid in Great Britain that I listened to. Well, not a kid, he's an adult, but what he did at the Taylor Swift dance school in Great Britain. And I mean, some of these, also looking into it, like right now, the political powers that be from the right and the left want to turn all of this into this was this, or this was a trans, or this was whatever, and they're making all of this stuff. Granted, they may have been trans, or they may have been this or that, but just because you fall into a demographic that maybe votes a certain way doesn't mean necessarily that you follow into that ideology. A lot of black people vote Democratic. That doesn't mean every crime by a black person falls into Democrats. And I'm not trying to give a defense of these political parties. Perfect example. Audrey Hale, reading into her stuff. She didn't. Yeah, she was part of the whole trans community, but she wasn't part of the trans community as in a voting member. She could care less about voting. She wasn't. I mean, and you'd be surprised how many of these people didn't vote at all. Had no real party affiliation. So, yes, I know I keep going way off topic, and apologies for going off topic. I believe it was this. Yes, that is the one I'm talking about. Actually, let me double check. I'm pretty sure it was the Southport murders, but I just want to make sure. What was his name? Yeah, that's exactly the one. If you know about that was Jacqueline. That one is horrible. And I'm like, that kid, because that one, I guess that one's kicked up a real shitstorm in the UK. That one kicked up a real shitstorm because a lot of people thought that he was a Muslim and all that. And he was actually a British citizen. He was born in Britain. I believe his parents were immigrants. But religion wasn't why he did any of that. In fact, he was an avowed atheist and hated all religions. And actually, part of like his psyche was him watching videos of religious people being brutally attacked. All faiths, Jewish people, Christians, Muslims, all of that. He enjoyed that. He enjoyed watching them being harmed in the most horrific ways. So, yeah, let me rough transition, but let me get back on topic because apologies, I went way off. I at least need an hour before I wake up and my brain is in working order. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Let me pull up. I guess I can end off. No, I will come back to that story and I will start with this one. Let's see if my autoplay finally stopped. No, it did not. Well, I got two videos on this one, and I kind of want to show this because I guess this video touches home. Of course, as a black man, so I do sympathize. But also, this is literally at my old job where this story happened. So I definitely, it's my hometown and my old job. So I wanted to bring attention to this, and a lot of media people have not been talking about the Charles Adair situation. So I have a couple of short videos that I want to share, and then we can talk about it on the other side.
deputy charged with second-degree murder in the death of a Wyandotte County inmate didn't get arrested? That's a question even the family wants to know. Instead, he received a summons. I'm Rachel Henderson, our station's Wyandotte County reporter, and I'm going in depth to get answers.
It's really heavy right now. They're still trying to process a lot of information.
Nikki Richardson's been helping Charles Adair's family carry that weight. Adair died in the Wyandotte County Jail on July 5th after a struggle with jail employees. One of them knelt on Adair's back.
It's been a few months since Charles's passing, but that does not mean that the grief has passed.
We do not believe that this was an intentional act.
District Attorney Mark Dupree announced charges against Deputy Richard Fatherly Thursday. He stood by his office's decision to issue Fatherly a summons.
And that is common practice when in this county where there are charges for officers.
My initial reaction upon hearing that a summons was issued in this case was an absolute shock.
Attorney Zach Thomas says this isn't normal. He's based in Johnson County and ran for district attorney twice.
Certain reasons exist that could validate that, whether it's understaffing, whether it's a lack of security that can be provided for the inmate.
A look at Wyandotte County's newly approved budget does reveal staffing shortages in the sheriff's department. Under the department's list of important issues, it says the hiring and retention of qualified personnel remains its, quote, biggest challenge. Fatherly was not a certified law enforcement officer, but did handle inmates.
So that officer's personal safety is at a very increased risk.
Thomas says he's seen situations where deputies or officers are held in neighboring counties. Instead, Fatherly must appear in court in November. Adair's family has hired renowned attorney Ben Crump to represent them. Nikki says Charles deserves proper recognition, too.
He was a human being, and he had a family that loved him and cared for him and really miss him.
Rachel Henderson, KSHB 41 News.
So I want to share that first video because I feel like it got some things in there which this other video doesn't show, and I feel like the second video explains more things. And it's kind of one of the things I saw in there, which I guess I didn't catch the first couple of times I saw that video. It said that the deputy and the juvenile detention officers that they are having a hard time filling those positions. Yeah, I know. They had that problem when I worked there back in 2005, 6, something like that, I think. I'm blanking on the exact years, but it was, around that time period, like 2006, 2007, something like that. I worked there for a couple of years. And part of it, in fact, for ours in particular, big part of that, we could put that on our lieutenant that we had. We had this super anal Nigerian captain who, if we were 30 seconds late, he would write us up. So you had people being written up. And mind you, we had to have a security elevator that you need to take to get to the floors for that position. And writing people up every 5 minutes to a position where you're struggling to keep people, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, that's a personal gripe. But it's interesting a situation like this because this comes into play of understanding the difference between different states' laws and municipalities, and different cities do things differently. The family feels outraged, and it feels as if they're not taking this case seriously and are ready to sweep it under the rug. And I understand why they would feel that way. A little background for those who don't know. Before this, not that long ago, Sheriff Deputy Paul Galewski was caught doing a manner of things and covering evidence. And anyway, he was going to trial, and I believe it was right before I came back this time, or I think the time before, I think maybe in November, where he took his own life on the day of sentencing because of the stuff that he was dealing with. And he worked for Wyandotte County Sheriff's Department just like I worked for. Granted, I'd never had any interactions with him, but that also, this Wyandotte County Sheriff's Department and Wyandotte County government, what we're talking about here, is the same place where Jay-Z's Rockefeller had their lawyers go in about all kind of other stuff. And I don't know if you guys remember when I had Cece on the show, Cece Mank, and she was running for city council. At that time then, there was I don't know if she wants her name mentioned or not, so I won't mention her name. But it was a young lady I went to high school with, was a couple of grades up under me, and I guess she had gotten into trouble, and she went back and forth into trouble, and she gave stories about officers and detention officers and deputies and stuff that were trafficking people that were in the detention center and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and evidence being, tampered with and hidden and cover-ups and all that. And in discovery, they also found like a secret white supremacist ring that was able to be documented within the Wyandotte County Sheriff's Department. So I wanted to cover this story because it's going into a bigger problem that's going on. And this is just more symptoms of our broken prison system. Broken prison and broken policing. And this isn't just a uniquely Kansas City, Kansas, Wyandotte County, problem. This is pervasive throughout the American system. This is just an example, as a specific example of that said corruption and rot that goes on within, these municipalities. So, yes, just like the movie Gothica, this was really happening with people that I knew. And I remember my mom telling me, like, be careful with that story. She didn't want me to even cover the story because she felt like it would be dangerous and that people would possibly come after me, people would come after family members and stuff like that. Because my family is a known, my family, it's not hard. For one, if you live in Kansas City and you got a big enough family, somebody's going to know somebody that knows somebody. And whether it's your uncle worked with this person's cousin and this person was married to this person and they went to college with them over here, or didn't you have a little cousin who went to middle school? So it's small enough where you're going to run into people, good or bad. And so she was kind of worried that that could be dangerous. And I actually farmed this story out to other channels, other bigger channels, because I wanted to make sure that this information got out there. Some of them kind of blew me off on it. Actually, no, all of the ones who I brought this story to blew me off on it. I won't mention their names, but so since they didn't cover the story, I decided, screw it. I'm going to go on ahead and cover the story. But yeah, this is highlighting a big problem that's going on there. And as I run into more stories like this, no matter where they are, it doesn't have to be, Kansas City because I have a tie to it. If there's something going on in your neck of the woods, where no matter where you are, if you're in Texas, you're in Chicago, you're somewhere in California, you're in New York, I don't care if you're in New Zealand, wherever this kind of stuff is going on and any kind of corruption, if you have this information and you want me to talk about it, I will not be afraid. I will go on ahead and I will bring up this information, and we will also try to follow up and keep abreast of the situation that's going on, because these things carry on because people don't talk about them and they don't bring that information out there. And even though we're a small channel, there's a possibility that somebody can get that information and do something with it. So if you see stuff like this going on, let me know, please. Or somebody else that you feel like you may be in chats with other content creators who you might be able to reach, who are bigger and can get that information. I don't care about being first. I don't care about breaking the story. I just care that the story gets out there. So, let me pull the second one up, and hopefully you guys remember all the information that was in the first one, because the second video kind of goes more in depth, I felt, in explaining some of that information. Here it is. So let me share on the screen.
Transparency and fairness are the main messages from Charles Adair's family. We learned tonight from attorney Ben Crump and other counselors that they had watched the body camera footage from inside the Wyandotte County Jail. They could only describe it as horrific.
Let's be fair for Charles Adair. Let's be fair for Charles Adair.
Inside the walls of this Kansas City church, the calls for justice echoed.
When you all get to see that video, you're going to be as shocked as anybody who saw the George Floyd video. I mean, Charles Adair should not be dead.
According to Crump and his team, Charles Adair was in a wheelchair from diabetes. Deputy Richard Fatherly and another law enforcement officer brought Adair back to his cell from the nurse. Fatherly allegedly kneeled with his entire body weight on Adair's back while removing his handcuffs for 1 minute and 25 seconds.
You hold people accountable for taking a life unnecessarily, unjustifiably, and unconstitutionally.
Adair was in the Wyandotte County Jail for traffic violations.
He was not a street thug. He was not a pimp. He was not a drug dealer or anything. He was common.
The family and advocates have repeatedly questioned why Fatherly was issued a summons and not arrested. On Tuesday, attorneys called for the video they saw to be released.
Deputy Fatherly, Mr. Fatherly, should be in jail right now.
Fatherly's hearing is set for November. The Wyandotte County DA has filed a motion asking for a judge from an outside jurisdiction.
If it was your child, wouldn't you want somebody fair?
And to his family, Charles is remembered as more than fair.
We will not forget what his life meant to us.
Over the last week, we've gone in depth as to why a summons may have been issued in this case rather than an arrest warrant. I spoke with former Jackson County prosecutor Jean Peters Baker, who has prosecuted multiple law enforcement cases about the details of this case. And she told me that in order for a judge to issue a warrant versus a summons, there has to be a number of criteria met, such as if the suspect or the defendant is known as a flight risk, or if they are considered a harm in public and a harm to the community. Now, she said that in this case, a summons, while it may be unusual for a felony charge, there wasn't anything that indicates this didn't follow judicial process.
It is not how you feel. It's not how angry you might be or how outraged you might be. It is a series of rules that prosecutors must follow, and the DA appears to have done that in this case, from my analysis.
I also asked attorneys Harris and Crump if they had filed any civil lawsuits at this point on behalf of Charles Adair. They said that right now they have not officially filed any of those lawsuits, but they do have every intention to. Reporting in Kansas City, Isabella Ladon, KSHB 41 News.
All right, so the reason why I wanted to show that that second video is so I can show what he was in there for. He was in there for traffic tickets, and he was in a wheelchair due to real bad diabetes. So this is, I feel, a little bit more egregious almost in a way, because this isn't somebody who was given some kind of major fight and all this going on. This is a dude who's in for traffic, and his life is snuffed out because the deputies are treating him like they're dealing with BTK or something. I don't know. It's just a sad situation. See, Myra is in the building. Hey, Myra, glad to see you here. Wonder, Myra, is that the same Myra's mom? I am a night owl. Glad to see you here. Yeah, yeah, Yonina, what they're saying is they're saying that the reason why he was given the charges and not taken in is, I guess it's part of just poor rules. You know, the way it's set up in Wyandotte County, that an officer charged with murder just gets a summons and doesn't get actually arrested unless they believe they're a flight risk, which I think is ridiculous, and that law needs to change. But that's the explanation that we got from District Attorney Dupree. And the crazy part about it is, it's given a little disclaimer. My mom technically is like, I can't remember what the title is, like city council something in his office, part of attached with his office, so my mom has communicated with him. I don't know, it's just a weird situation. Chris H says, this is a new guy dying in police custody. What about the other guy that got hangman? Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's messed up. Oh, in South Africa. Oh, well, welcome. And glad you're here. And if you follow me on any social medias or whatever, and there's any kind of stories going on in your area that you feel need coverage and you want us to speak about, please feel free to, send that information to me, and I will definitely research it the best I can and talk about it here on the show, and hopefully we can get attention to that story. Jacqueline A says, was this man in jail waiting the court case for traffic violations? Yes. That's what he was detained for, traffic violations. And yet the man who murdered him is still free. Yeah, insane justice system. So yes, you can be put in for second-degree murder and get a summons, but if you get too many tickets, you can go to jail. Yeah. I can't explain it myself. I just felt like that story deserves some attention, and with all the stuff that I've been seeing going on with Wyandotte County Sheriff's Department, it has not been good. And so I wanted to make sure that I bring it out and talk about it, and hopefully this brings more attention. They say that the body cam it's pretty bad, and I'm pretty sure you got a guy who was in a wheelchair and you're slamming him to the ground. It's not called for. And I don't know if we just have I know that we have a mental health issue in this country, but I just wonder how. I don't think that's a mental health thing. I think it's like an IQ thing. I'm not even gonna say IQ because I don't like going off of the whole IQ thing. It's just intelligence. And I think we just have way too many dumb people doing jobs that they shouldn't be, and it makes it dangerous for other people out there. So, on that note, let me go ahead and move on to our final story, which is encompassing a couple of different stories in one. I really was a little bit nervous about using this one clip, but I think I got the clip that I could use, because I want to avoid. I don't know if this is the wrong clip. I'm going to stop it immediately, and I'll explain why. So just bear with me for a second. No, that's the one I want to share. So this is just one of them. I know that I have it titled the Gideon AI thing, But I'm going to talk about, but this is another AI, what is it called? New AI threat detection technology. It seems like there's a rash of these things lately. And so just wanted to bring it up. The cops did this to a Caucasian lady that was inebriated. I think that's what happens when these cops stop caring and lose their... Yeah, they don't care about any of these people. Yeah, I get that many people don't have a working knowledge of the human anatomy, but you can understand when you're putting your knee in somebody's back, how that feels. You know what that feels like because you know you wouldn't want it done to yourself. And I don't know, I'll leave it at that. It'll start just the way these cops do things. And you're talking from somebody who worked in corrections, who dealt with a lot of these crazy situations and having to walk people back and forth to court and cuff people and detain people and do all this kind of stuff too. It don't have to be done the way these people are doing things. It does not have to be done that way. And I know what happens. You get pissed off at these people, you get angry, and you start manhandling them and you want to act tough with them. I worked alongside officers who did that kind of crap. And I'm like, for me, I didn't have that attitude in me, but I definitely saw it. So I know where some of this stuff comes from. And it's not from lack of understanding the analogy. It comes from just being an asshole. And sometimes being an asshole gets people killed. All right, so here we go.
The engineers who built Israel's Iron Dome protection system are unveiling a new AI-powered threat detection device for large crowds. Reporter Evan Brown shows us how it works.
Public security has been a challenge ever since 9/11 with screening and x-rays, but now artificial intelligence could be taking it over. Prompted by the uptick in mass shootings and other scares, more tech startups are focusing their AI efforts on keeping folks safe without compromising personal privacy.
We see all these deep technology evolve in more practical way. So we're very happy about that.
And you might see it in action at your next concert or ball game. An Israeli startup led by the engineers behind the Iron Dome just launched Scannery, a new security system using AI and radar to screen up to 25,000 people an hour in crowded spaces.
It means that security teams get better augmented reality-driven awareness while visitors can expect freely and feel safe.
It works in the background, quietly detecting concealed threats and alerting security in real time, but there are no cameras, no body scanners, and no invasive pat-downs.
Nothing personal is captured, only threats are flagged.
It's part of a growing movement that's seen public security embracing AI, and unlike other tech trends, this one could be here to stay.
It's more than a trend. I think it's we see that security is shifting to systems that protect people in the background.
Last year, the public safety AI market was worth more than $16 billion, and that is expected to grow to $21 billion by the end of this year.
Yeah, I knew. I was like, oh, hold on a second, because that's pertinent information. It's planning to expand, and it seems like a market is being created for it. I mean, I'm not going to say that I think it's created as if they're making these things happen, but for somebody who has this tech that they've been working on, the timing is uncanny. That's what I will say. And the, let me share it first. Let's see where to go. Where did it go? I'm sharing this one through somebody else's video that they cover. And so let me get it on the screen first. I want to say first off, before I share this video, I want to say that the thoughts expressed in this video do not express the views of the political matrix or myself, and the pushbacks to this video. But I wanted to share this video because this is the only one that I've been able to find, which is going over these comments that is not from the creator's video. The creator, I believe his name is like Aaron Cohen or something like that, which you guys will see him in the video because this guy is reacting to his appearance, I believe, on Fox News, which the only one I've been able to find is that Fox News appearance is on his channel. And I did not want to go to the Gideon channel or website and risk that it be a strike or anything to my channel. So I stayed away from it and just looked for somebody else who was sharing what was said on there. So with that said, let's show this video.
They spark a crisis, then roll out their solution, aka AI surveillance. Meet Gideon.
I am now about to launch Gideon, America's first ever AI threat detection platform built specifically for law enforcement. It scrapes the internet 24/7 using an Israeli-grade ontology to pull specific threat language and then routes it to local law enforcement. It's a 24/7 detective. It never sleeps, and it's going to get us in front of these attacks.
Would it have picked up on this, do you think?
100%. I wish my program would already be up. We're not launching until next week. I've got a dozen agencies on board, Trace. I just unloaded a major Northeast agency with over 2,700 sworn. This is America's early warning system.
But do you really feel safer with AI intelligence looking over all of your behavior online? Or should we just start calling trans a mental illness? What do you think? This is how it begins. They spark a crisis, then roll.
Okay. Well, that's what's up. His views in that video don't express the views of this channel or myself. But I did want to share about that new technology. And I remember even till she brought that up and got a lot of attention to right after that Minnesota shooting, how quick he was on TV and like, hey, I got this app that'll fix that problem. And then we've had, I don't know how many shootings since the Minnesota one. Has it been 4 or 5, 6? I don't know how many it's been at this point. But we're talking about maybe in a 2-week time, we've seen anywhere from 6 to possibly 10 mass shootings. And that said, that's the private sector. And let's look at a government. Prime Minister sets blueprint to turbocharge AI. Artificial intelligence will deliver a decade of national renewal as part of a new plan announced today, January 13, 2025. This was Keir Starmer that brought this up. Artificial intelligence will be unleashed across the UK to deliver a decade of national renewal under a new plan announced. In a marked move from the previous government's approach, the Prime Minister is throwing the full weight of Whitehall behind this industry by agreeing to take forward all 50 recommendations set out by Matt Clifford in his game-changing AI opportunities action plan. AI is already being used across the UK. It is being used in hospitals up and down the country to deliver better, faster, and smarter care, spotting pain levels for people who can't speak, diagnosing breast cancer quicker, and getting people discharged quicker. This is already helping deliver the government's mission to build a NHS fit for the future. That's how they sell this. I just wonder if we're going to get to a point where they are going to put this in. And I think I was watching it on was it not CNN? Was it CBN? I can't remember, but it's like that Christian CBN, Christian Broadcast Network, and they were saying that this is supposed to be said to be done for like migrants or whatever, but there's already all these other checks that they could do as far as work requirements and stuff. It just seems like that they might be trying to usher in a whole different other kind of program. And a lot of times what you start to see in some of these other countries, especially as far as surveillance tech, we will start to see it here eventually. So I don't know. It's looking a little dystopian out there. I don't know. I guess I'll leave it at that. Let me stop sharing. You guys have any comments that you want to throw in? Any questions? So like I said, I've gotten through most of my topics I want to talk about. Anyway, I guess I can throw out there. It was interesting that I think Italy and Spain, I believe. I think Italy and Spain is being an escort for the flotilla out there. So I think from what I heard, one of the boats of the flotilla went down. Or is inoperable, maybe dead in the water. But I don't know. We'll see if they're able to do their mission of getting the food there, and if we won't have any kind of international incidents. But yeah, that's all I really got. Yeah, I've covered everything that I've paid attention to for the most part. And yeah, the IDF has been droning the flotilla boats. Yeah, that's the reason why Spain and Italy sent out ships, because they're like, yo, we got to protect our citizens. And keep in mind, Italy does not want to do this. I'm trying to remember Maloney? She does not want to do this. She literally criticized them at the same time as she has to do it. And it's because if she doesn't, she's going to catch a whole lot of flack and heat from, the Italian citizens. And so she has to make sure that for poll ratings that she at least protects the people, even if she disagrees with them. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. You said get some sleep, old man. I think I'm going to take your advice and hop off of here. I appreciate everybody who came to join us this weekend, hung out. What was that? I think Greece has sent a naval ship as well. That'd be good. They definitely need the help. Although I'm very pessimistic on what it's going to be. Oh, that's right. I did have one other video that I can show. I hate to end things on a downer, but I can show that other video. I mean, it's reality. For those who haven't seen what it looks like, this is what it's looking like over there right now. And when you look at this, make sure you pay attention to the background. When you look in the background, you're going to be able to see the, I guess we say, skyline of Gaza, and see how obliterated it is. I mean, I keep seeing on my Instagram feed this one lady who pops on, and I guess she's some kind of influencer who's decided she's not going to leave, and she's kind of staying there in Gaza. Now, some people have said that she's like an IDF plant. I don't know, but it looks pretty dire. But here's what I'll show you all. looks like it's kind of showing some of that stuff in a loop. I'm not sure. It may not be. This looks pretty bad. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Visual skyline. Yeah, but much appreciation for everybody for being here. Hopefully you guys are all, you and your family are all well. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Almost closed the wrong link. Hopefully you guys are all well throughout this weekend. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week, and hopefully I have better news to put out. I mean, seems like things are just getting pretty bad. I didn't even want to cover Netanyahu and people walking out. I mean, it's just a game. They're not going to stop them. They're not going to do anything. They're not even going to risk, So, yeah, they can go and it's equivalent to the Democrats, wearing kente cloth. They're after George Floyd. Not going to do anything, but it's just going to be a slow motion, dissolution of these people until they've dispersed them everywhere or taken all their lives or whatever Israel plans to do. And anybody who tries to look at Israel as, no, it's this out colony of the U.S. and Europe. No, it's not. It's their boss. And the reason why is because they have blackmail on all of these countries. And so if you have the blackmail, you can force them to do what you want, and that is what they're doing. That said, this is the Political Matrix. I'm your host, Marcus Morpheus Cage. And make sure you go and touch some grass. Go spend some time with some friends, family, loved ones. Go connect with somebody. You never know how much more time we have on this in this crazy thing called life. So make sure you enjoy it the best that you can. And we're out.
There is discrimination in this world, and slavery and slaughter and starvation. Governments repress their people. Millions are trapped in poverty, while the nation grows rich, and wealth is lavished on armaments everywhere. These are differing evils, but they are the common works of man. They reflect the imperfection of human justice, the inadequacy of human compassion, our lack of sensibility towards the suffering of our fellows. But we can perhaps remember, even if only for a time, those who live with us are our brothers, that they share with us the same short moment of life, that they seek as we do, nothing but the chance to live out their lives in purpose and happiness, winning what satisfaction and fulfillment they can.